Hey everybody. So today is not going to be going as planned in what I had promoted. Dr. Kate, who is going to be joining me, is not feeling well today, and we are very happy that she is taking care of herself and doing what she needed instead of honoring her commitment and pushing through. We're super happy that she's taking care of herself. So thank you, Kate, for doing that. And I'm going to be rescheduling her for the end of the month. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity to go live here since this is a new endeavor for me, is to create more video content, to bring in more voices to my community, share other women's wisdom. And a topic that has been moving around a lot in the collective, and especially in Coven, my seasonal container for women creators, is the topic of self-trust. And so I just wanted to take a little time today to talk about self-trust and my experience with that. It's definitely been a journey for me over the last 12 years. And I'll just share a little bit about what it was like for me before I established self-trust and some of the pain that I've gone through to create more confidence in myself, belief in myself, and my intuition and my knowing, because I think those are so closely related, as connection to your intuition and your self-trust. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I did not prepare this topic, so I'm just kind of riffing, but it's something that I feel pretty confident in talking about just because I've personally experienced a lot of lack of self-trust and then building that confidence for myself. So 12 years ago, almost to the day, so tomorrow is the 12-year anniversary of my last drink of alcohol. And, Wednesday is my 12-year anniversary. So I'll be sharing a post about that in my story. But I think reflecting back, especially from the lens of self-trust, my journey with alcohol was very much about muting and numbing my knowing of what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not comfortable with. So 12 years ago, I was putting myself in relationships and situations that I did not like and I wasn't comfortable with. And the only option for me was to then numb myself, because in order to put up with and stay in those relationships, situations, and environments that didn't feel good, I had to numb myself. So what that looked like was romantic partnerships where I was self-abandoning, like putting their needs above my own, or the needs of the relationship, like wanting to stay in attachment. So I wouldn't speak up if I was hurt. I wouldn't hold them accountable if they did something that didn't work for me in the relationship. And that over time led to more and more disconnection from myself that I then needed to numb. I was also in work environments that I did not enjoy. I'm lucky that I had a really great career in marketing and in a corporate environment, but I did not like what I did. I didn't feel good about what I did. I remember introducing myself to people and sharing what I did, which was marketing and basically like pushing products. I didn't feel proud of myself. And so, again, it's like I was doing something for the money and that didn't feel good. That didn't feel like fulfilling or in alignment with my values. And so I just, my only option was to numb myself. I was in friendships that didn't feel good, people who didn't seem to value me as much as I valued them, or I would be putting more into the relationship than they would be providing. And so that didn't feel good. I was, what I've learned after getting sober is I didn't like going into big, like sporting events, concerts, any kind of thing where there's like a lot of people and a lot of energy. That doesn't feel good to me, and I have a very sensitive system, so it doesn't feel good to my nervous system. I start to feel panicky, and again, the only way to deal with that was to drink. So I thought that I liked those things. I thought I liked concerts, sporting events, outdoor festivals. I thought I liked those things, but now that looking back, it was just like I liked going to drink. And the only way I could enjoy those things was drinking. So all that to say, like alcohol and overusing any kind of substance that numbs is definitely a sign of self-abandonment and a lack of boundaries and a lack of self-trust. Because if I'm not trusting my own experience, my own felt sense that this doesn't feel good, and so I'm not going to do it, the only option then is to drink or to use. So that was definitely a sign for me that I didn't have self-trust. I didn't know that at the time, but looking back is, hindsight's 2020. So after getting sober, it's been quite a journey over the last 12 years of cultivating that confidence and self-trust. I actually have a post, which I'll link when I send this out, about building self-confidence. And since this is such a big topic lately for women, especially women who are writing or publishing content or trying to speak their truth and getting their voice out there, another thing that I've recently become aware of is how much women are socially conditioned to self-silence, to keep quiet, to stay nice, to go along with the flow. And if you don't go with the flow, if you don't keep the peace, if you're not quiet and nice and agreeable, you're seen as a bitch. Like, I've been told that when I have spoken up about something that didn't work in a workplace. You're seen as cold. You're seen as harsh. And so we are just socially conditioned in this world as women to be quiet. And so I think there's this reclamation happening where women are starting to realize and wake up to the fact that, like, no, it's time for us to speak our truth and tell our story and say what's important to us, to speak truth to power, to call out what's not working in our society. But there's been so many years of conditioning, so many generations of conditioning for women to be quiet, that we have a hard time, once we have a platform, of actually like having the courage and the confidence to know that what we are going to say matters. And so for me, where I've been able to navigate that over time, especially as a small business owner and an entrepreneur and someone who writes and creates content, is exposure therapy. You're not going to be clear on your message and fully confident in what you're going to say or have full belief in yourself before you hit publish. It's in the publishing and the writing and the getting stuff out there and having the world react to it that you'll get that clarity. So if you're waiting right now to have clarity and to have belief in yourself before you can do it, it's a little bit backwards. You actually have to start taking the leap before the belief is there, before the confidence is there, before the clarity is there. You just got to start acting, almost like faking it till you make it, like acting as if you believe in yourself. And then you'll slowly, over time, from that exposure to these small moments of courage that it takes, you'll build up that self-confidence and start having trust and belief in, okay, what I say matters. And the other piece that I just saw actually this morning that I think is so spot on, I get Mark Manson's newsletter, which is really short and sweet. And he talks about how confidence doesn't just come from acting. It also is knowing that you're going to be okay if you fail or if something goes wrong. So I think another aspect of self-confidence and self-trust is having emotional resilience, knowing that no matter how bad I feel, I will be okay. And this goes back to a lot of like emotional regulation, nervous system work, and expanding emotional capacity. Because if we can hold the feeling of failure or any kind of emotionally painful experience, if we can hold that in our bodies and trust ourselves to get through that, we will be able to have a lot more confidence in taking big leaps, because the leaps will get bigger and bigger, and the opportunity for failure will get bigger and bigger. But if we expand our capacity to hold the pain of failure, we will have more confidence to take those leaps. So I think another aspect is practicing sitting with uncomfortable emotions, not distracting yourself, not numbing yourself, feeling your feelings, like sitting with the feelings happening in your body, not even having to label what you're feeling, but like just experiencing that emotional feeling in your body. Emotion is energy in motion. It's energy moving through your body, and it can be quite uncomfortable The brain catalogs emotional pain on the same register as physical pain. And our survival brain wants us to avoid physical pain because that leads to danger and death. So your brain is fighting against you in wanting to avoid emotional pain. So it really is up to us to sit with that discomfort, build our emotional capacity, which means our ability to hold different emotions and intensity of emotions. And that will naturally enable you to take more risks, step out more, speak your truth more, fail more. Because the only difference between you and whoever you're looking up to is they've failed way more than you have. So, I mean, I'm I'm doing this right now because I did not have any plan for this live because I was going to be interviewing someone, and here I am just riffing on this content, and who knows if it's going to land or not, but at this point I know I'm going to be okay no matter what. So I really suggest, if you want to build more self-trust, doing some of the things I just talked about. So stop numbing, start feeling your feelings and building your emotional capacity. 2 is acting before you have clarity, acting before you believe in yourself, acting before you feel confident. Pretend you're a confident person and ask yourself, what would I do if I was confident? And do that. Over exposure therapy. If you keep doing that over and over and over, it will get less and less like a big deal. And obviously trying to do this from a trauma-informed perspective where you're taking enough of a risk that it feels like growth, but not too much of a risk that it sends your body into fight or flight. So it's like a little bit of discomfort, but not too much, and finding that sweet spot for yourself and supporting yourself and resourcing yourself so that you can come back to safety and equilibrium after these leaps that you do. And then finally, I think the final piece that I would say in terms of building self-trust is starting to practice listening to and honoring your inner knowing. So what that looks like in day-to-day life is depending on, and I like to follow human design, and in human design, you have an inner authority type. So for example, my inner authority is sacral, which is in my gut. And I know yes or no in my gut immediately. It's very clear. And when I go against what my gut says, so if I say yes to something and my gut is saying no, or I say no to something and my gut is saying yes, things don't go well. Like things don't feel right for me. I get frustrated. I end up feeling out of alignment with myself. I feel like not myself. I get stressed. So learning what your inner authority is, and feel free to reach out to me if you don't understand human design. I'm by no means an expert, and there's plenty of experts on this platform, but I can help you at least find your chart and understand your inner authority. Because I was going to say listen to your body, but for some people's authority, that's not the case. That doesn't work for everybody. So finding out your inner authority type, listening to that, and then when your authority is saying no, say no externally. When your authority is saying yes, follow that. Over time, if you practice that, no to the no's and yeses to the yes to the yeses, that will build more self-trust because you will know your inner self, your body, your inner child, all your parts will know they can trust you in how you're making decisions. And that will also build self-trust. That will also support you in honing your intuition. So finding practices that will help you connect with yourself and hone your intuition. I'm a huge fan of the artist's way. If you want a practice, like a daily practice to reconnect with yourself, it's a self-guided 12-week program in a book that you can get at any bookstore. It's very popular. And the process of reconnecting with yourself and your inner artist, and the homework assignments she gives you, that's like a great self-study in reconnecting with yourself. So do whatever you need to do to reconnect with yourself and hone your intuition, because that's also going to build your self-trust. And then also, like, finally, finding environments in which people will honor your truth, honor your knowing, and can handle it when you say no or when you speak up. If the people around you can't handle your truth, then you need to find environments that are safe for you to speak up and be yourself so that you can practice this and expand yourself. Once you expand yourself and you have that self-trust and you've honed your intuition, then you can be in environments that don't necessarily believe you and it doesn't really impact you as much. But until then, like create a cocoon of people and environments around you so that you can learn to trust yourself, that people can handle the truth that you're going to speak without reacting too big. Because that will also forward your journey to self-trust and reconnecting with yourself and building your intuition. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions on this topic. I'll leave some notes of anything that I mentioned when I send this out to my audience. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't yet, and you'll get those resources. But more to come on this topic, because again, it's just so prevalent right now, especially for creators of that wanting to learn how to trust themselves and speak their truth, get their voice out into the world. And I really believe, and this is the whole premise of my platform, is the women who are making something, who are creating, and we create with our speech. The women who are creating are going to change the world. So the world is relying on us to do this, to build that self-trust and speak our truth. You have something important to say, so I want to make sure that you say it. So if you don't feel that way yet and you need someone to remind you who you really are, feel free to reach out to me. Sending you lots of love, and thank you for those of you who have joined me. Ta-ta for now.